Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back. Alrighty, so today we have Nox and we have Mason. Fenrir is. Oh, right, I did not fix that. I keep on forgetting to fix the nameplates for this scene. That is my fault. I won't do it right now. Anyways, um, welcome back. It's been a minute. So, last time you guys were in your rooms, uh, the two of you did the whole ritual thing. You went into the sword. You found out that the sword is a vengeful spirit who was betrayed by someone or something. Um, and yeah. Nox did not get corrupted by the sword.
It
Um,
tried.
it did try. It tried very hard, but you learned, and
Yay!
you adapted, and you did the salt circle thing.
Nah.
So that is where we are picking back up. Oh, and Mason met with his contact. Um, yeah. That was also a thing that happened. Basically, they told you to leave town.
Yep.
Oh yeah, your spooky ghosty window apparition.
Yeah.
Knox picked up that he was hiding something. As for that something,
I mean,
who knows?
shifty thief guy hiding something. I mean, Nox sleuth skills aren't exactly up there.
Yes. Anyways, that is where we're going to begin. We're going to begin the next morning. So you guys took a long sleep, and you are now waking up nice and refreshed.
As I recall, we were gonna make like we were heading out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And camp outside the town for a night, and then circle back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Then, like later on in the night, we're gonna try to maybe like hit up the library, possibly do some more research.
Yes.
Okay. I don't actually think I added the library in here. So I'm just gonna point it out. I'll put it on a marker in a minute. You see, so where the park is, there is to the right, of it is like a triangular kite looking shape.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the building that is not the corners, but the center one that is closest to the park, that is the library.
The big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mouse is on it for everyone at home watching, but they can't see my mouse, so I have to I have to describe it for Knox and Mason. Because there's no marker.
The back of the snowplow. That's quite handy then, because we'd have seen it from the inn. Would have been way too convenient for it to be on the outside of the town, but then it wouldn't make sense for it to be there either. Um, did we learn much about the Ivory Palace and like what was going on there? Because that wasn't the main place where the leader was. Was it poisoned? That was Black Barrow, wasn't it?
The main place,
Like the Lord of the.
he was poisoned in the capital, which was Black Barrel. Yeah.
Okay.
The Ivory, what was it? The Ivory Palace is the Lord's estate, essentially. It has an actual name because it used to be, before, the kingdom was actually established. It was each city was ruled by like a king or a duke or something, or some high nobleman. And so it was a palace of which they lived in. Now it's just called the Lord's Estate, but it has an official title to the building.
Yeah, fair enough. A historic name.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just gonna quickly refresh this page because I added the marker. If you want to refresh, you can see the marker now. To the library. Yay!
Yay.
Hastily adding things on the spot. Woohoo!
That's third of D&D at times.
Yeah,
So
really is.
authenticity.
Anyhow,
Authenticity.
as I assume you guys are going to be leaving your rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So as you leave your room, and as you shut the door, you go over to Fenrir's room, which is on the opposite side, and you hear something inside. When you press your ear towards the door, you just hear snoring.
Mason's definitely gonna be like, does Fenrir usually stay out for this long? Sleep wise.
Well, not usually, but he's been on high alert in the town. I think he's been up most of the night.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to. For a little possible assignment, we can't really keep him here though.
This is true. I can't. When he sleeps, he's not the easiest to move.
Yeah. Maybe. Gods. Maybe you and me just pay for an extra night for him to stay, and slide a note just in case.
I'd say that seems reasonable.
Yeah. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be kind of hard to be inconspicuous with two of us carrying our big fellow around.
What does your note say?
Let's see. It's going to be something like, going to. We gotta do a little bit more research. We'll be outside the town for a little bit. And I'm definitely showing Knox this is like, hey, is this fine? As he's doing it. Meet us out on the outskirts once you get up. Like, should this be fine?
Yeah, I'm sure that would make sense to him. He should be able to track us.
Alright, just making sure. Mason is gonna go pay for an extra night for his friends.
All right. I believe I had you pay a silver last time per night,
Yep, it
so
was a silver per room per night.
yeah. So it'll just be 1 silver. Peace.
Alright.
Yeah, if I remember correctly. I don't write down what you pay for things. I should.
Well, I mean, we're not in the most fanciest of inns.
No.
It's not like gonna cost us
It
a
is
gold
one of the
or
main central inns, so it does cost more than probably like a smaller inn in the slums or whatever. But
It looks out upon the park.
yeah, it's a very fancy inn. It looks out upon the park.
Don't you know?
And if you get to top floor one, you'll get to look upon the palace.
La la.
All right, so you guys are gonna travel to like the outskirts of town.
Hmm.
Okay. Would you say that you would stay like somewhat near, like over, let's say, like over here, for example?
I have no idea what over here is.
We'll wait
Yeah.
for the marker to update. It's gonna disappear in a second. Come on, disappear.
Oh, I see, down southwest.
Yep.
How high are the walls?
So the walls themselves are probably a good like 30, 40 foot tall.
Okay, and
No,
I
your
take it the
standard
buildings around.
height of walls.
I take it the buildings around the outside of those walls don't come close to the top of them.
Not at all.
Okay. So the only way in and out.
Each of the houses in like in the slums are 1 story, maybe 2, if there's like a general store or like a watering hole underneath of it.
Okie dokie. Okay, so the only way in and out really is through the gate.
Mhm.
How inconvenient.
Well, we're just kind of browsing around. Mason will definitely just casually look around, see if he notices anything odd around the city.
Around the city itself.
Other than
Can you
us.
go ahead and roll me a perception check?
Alright. At 20.
Okay.
Damn.
You do notice several things. One of which is you spot them at the corner of your eye. You never fully see them, but you spot them at the corner of their eye as you are walking out of town. You spot several people dressed within like thieves guild and like thieves gear or like assassin's gear, darting from alleyway to alleyway. Another thing you notice is that guards are on very high alert. They are actively looking for something.
Knox. So far from what I'm seeing, this place is a lot more lively than we would have first assumed when we got here.
Oh, anything in particular? The guards certainly seem tense, but I can't quite grasp why. They seem more
Well-
wound up than yesterday.
If I had to guess, I think they're looking for something. And, well, I don't know if you saw it, but I'm seeing some unsavory fellows in the corner of my eye walking back and forth.
Following us or just moving around?
Mason would say just moving around, not following them, right?
They're moving around. They're not necessarily following you. They look from the corner of your eye, from the expressions that you get, They look to be more concerned about their own well-being than anything that you're doing.
Nah, we're not on their radar.
I wonder. We need a means to enter the city to get to the library undetected. If they're managing to move around without notice of the guards, an enemy of my enemy. Does there seem to be any pattern to their movements? Do you think we could preempt one and make sure we run into them?
Would Mason be able to think like he could see the pattern enough to move through that to like intercept them?
It is possible, but if you change direction, there is a good. You get a good feeling that they will then notice you. In turn.
Probably lose our cover if we do that.
Maybe let's just take a little bit more of a scenic route as we leave.
Yeah.
And an opportunity may arise.
Oh yeah.
So you go round and around and about. You don't come face to face with anyone. If anything, you come face to face with a guard once or twice. They don't seem to be paying you any mind as they just pass through. And you make it out into the slums.
Well, I can see why they can elude the guards. We had no luck.
Oh yeah. When you've been in certain cities for long enough, sometimes you can be more familiar than the people that were pretty much born and raised there. You just gotta have to have a keen eye for certain details.
Yes, and some people are very good at going unnoticed even when they're in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
As you exit the town, you go into more of the outskirts. You come up across a hill, a little ways to the side of the slums. It's not super tall of a hill, but it gives you just enough to where you can somewhat look up above the walls. Um,
Mm.
but really, the only thing that you can really see for sure is the Ivory Palace, which stands upon a hill of its own above the city itself.
Yeah.
That's a pretty beautiful sight.
Yeah,
The
if you
Ivory
like
Palace
cities.
is very beautiful. It is decked out in almost all white marble. Its columns and walls are polished. It has some gold accents to accent over the ivory color of the building itself. The front and the main door are giant, easily, from what you can speculate, easily about 10-foot tall red oak.
Gotta Gotta compliment the decorator with some of those designs. Personally, not what I would have picked, but, well, I ain't an interior decorator, or any decorator at all.
Waste of a good tree.
Oh yeah.
But I have a feeling you were going to say that. I
True to
was thinking about
character.
it as I was saying about the red oak door. I was like, man, he's going to comment about the door, isn't he?
Well, you know, I hate to disappoint.
It wasn't disappointing.
Yeah, it's all good,
I
all
mean, I
good.
couldn't not comment.
Uh,
Um,
anyways, this is where you set up shop.
you said there were like trees behind us.
There are some scatterings of some trees. Um, the if I go back, the trees are mainly on the opposite side of the town. What's interesting about this is that this city is geared more towards is facing more towards the outside of the kingdom rather than the rest of the kingdom.
Hmm.
Like it faces pretty much directly like head on. If you go out and just keep on going straight towards, you'll hit the university.
Almost as if the borders moved.
Mm-hmm. Almost as if
Because
history
it's.
had other plans.
Because the defensive wall that doesn't have an opening is effectively facing the inside of the place.
Mm-hmm. No, wait.
Oh.
Huh?
Yeah, because the wall behind the palace has no opening, so it's like the defensive wall.
Mm-hmm.
And all the slums are like hidden behind the town
Mm-hmm.
around the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
more
get what you
like
mean
it's
now.
opposing.
Yeah, I getcha. Yeah. And that forest on the other side would be the meadow woods.
But they sound nice.
Mellow
But then
woods.
so did the
Sorry.
enchanted. So did the enchanted forest. Hmm.
Right.
How long did
So
it
you
take
say no
us
longer.
to get out here?
What?
It took you about a quarter of a day
All right. I'm
with
just
your
factoring in.
detour.
Oh, true. Go on, Mason.
Oh no, he just basically asked, so, just 2 days should be fine, at worst?
You mean to stay out of sight?
Just stay in this town. I know we have to still try to do some tracking, for perp.
True. We could always move away, do what we need to, and pass back through at a later date. I'm just
Yeah,
curious about
so,
our
I
encounter.
got a feeling once we leave, there is a chance, you know, what happens is not gonna. I don't know. For me, I feel like something's gonna happen pretty soon.
I agree.
Now, Knox, are you gonna make your house? It's been a
Nope.
while since you've done your house.
No, because there's not much cover up here.
Oh.
It'd be too obvious by the sounds of it.
Yeah, probably house coming out of nowhere.
Yeah. I do, however, have other means.
Hmm.
Because I've got Leomon's tiny hut.
That's always a good option.
Because that would make us invisible to anyone outside. So who'd set that up?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a ritual?
Okay, you set up your tiny hut.
Let's see.
Hut
I
number
think
2?
And let's see. Do I still have it?
It's here. I see it. 10-foot radius, mobile dorm of force, strength, resistance around.
thought I had disguise kits. Hmm. No. Dang. Oh well.
Wait, but
And
this
Mason was
doesn't
gonna.
actually create a hut.
No, creates a protective barrier.
Yeah. A 10
So,
foot circumference.
mm-hmm. Oh, no, 10-foot radius. Big difference.
I thought that symbol is for circumference.
Mm-mm.
Is that really radius? Why the fuck would they make radius look so fucking weird? Okay.
I think a 10-foot circumference would only be like 3 feet across.
Probably. So that would be a 20-foot circumference.
10-foot radius is a 20-foot diameter, so
20-foot diameter.
probably
That's the word that I
probably
meant.
be closer
not
to 60.
circumference. Diameter.
To be honest,
Jesus.
it's not that tiny, to be fair.
No. Not at all.
But the main benefit of it is the fact that the atmosphere inside is comfortable and dry, regardless of the weather outside. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. All other creatures and objects other than those you wish are barred from passing through. And you can command the interior to become dimly lit or dark, and the dome is opaque from the outside or any color you choose, but is transparent from the inside. So you can see out from the inside, but no one can see in. So I would make it a pretty sort of natural color to blend in with the surroundings.
Okay.
And then we could literally sit up there quite comfortable and protected and keep watch.
Yeah. So Mason would ask, like, should we just camp here till, like, it gets dark and we just try to sneak into the city?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that would be wise. We may even be able to see some of the guards' patrol routes and movements from here.
Alright. So you sit up there for 2 whole days and 3 whole nights. Right? That works? No. 2 days, 1 night. That's how that works.
I'd have to refresh this. Yeah.
And overall, you see Jack Dilly squat.
Standard.
Figure as much.
Do we see much traffic come in and out of the town, or does it seem almost entirely self-reliant?
So there's a lot of self-reliance. You do see merchants coming in and out every now and then. Like, maybe twice a day you'll see a couple caravans come through and a couple leave of, like, traders, but that's about it. In terms of farming and stuff, they're pretty self-reliant.
So Nox would comment saying, considering the apparent thief activity here, there's very little traffic in and out.
Yeah, hold up. So, Mason would probably think about something. Well, we're near the border, so that doesn't make sense. Usually border towns actually have a higher traffic.
Especially when its main entrance is facing the border. And it's right next to the university.
Yes. So, something isn't adding up.
I mean, it wouldn't get much trade from Ulv, they're very particular, but the university's usually very open.
Yeah. And usually when it comes to...
Nox, I would like to remind you that yes, the university is very open. The Dryads are not so much.
True, and they would have to pass right through that forest.
Mm-hmm.
My home.
Your home.
My
So
home.
yeah, not really adding up. Plus, we didn't see. What was it? The governor or the mayor of this town went to go see the king.
Mm-hmm.
Have we learned?
He left to go see the Lord. Um, he is a nobleman. He's
Yeah.
pretty high up there, as well as um, from conversations amongst town people, he knew the king personally.
So Mason would also see that as kind of weird. Like, uh, if like the okay, so is the distance like more than a few days to get to the king?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's about a week
So all
on
right.
foot.
So so Mason will just kind of wonder. Uh, so maybe it is well, a lot of this hubbub by the sound of it is because the governor is gone. So by the time he comes back, whatever may have happened or what's causing this may go back to normal. So we may only have a little bit more time before shit hits the fan.
Do you think that the mayor may have taken most of the guard with him as protection, leaving the town a bit more free for the taking?
Probably. Most noble people that I've met and talked to, they usually got at least 4 guards by their side and like 2 hidden on the where nobody can see. So, and with somebody of that high caliber, well, if I were to guess, he may have taken at least half.
And the question is,
Especially going,
what is the question is, what of value does he have that he's left unguarded while he's gone?
yeah. Either way, I think we actually put enough time in, so if we get spotted again, I don't think they're gonna gun for our throats. So, I ain't
They
gonna
may
lie.
think we just, yeah,
Good?
they may think we just moved on and are passing back through.
Yeah. So, personally, I would prefer us making some disguises, cover our tracks, just in case. But, uh, beggars can't be choosers. That's just to keep our heads low. We gotta hit up the library.
Disguises aren't exactly my strong suit.
Oh, uh, I can make the disguises. I'm kind of. Well, I wasn't always the best at my cooking classes, but I was pretty decent with the sewing needle.
Well, perhaps we should spend a day making those before we head in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can find some scrap material and stuff from the poorer side of town where we head on in.
I'm happy to search and forage. Failing that, we could always approach one of the merchant caravans as they're once they've left the city limits, so that they don't bring word of us into the town.
Yeah.
Go ahead
Be right
and
back. I got
roll
you.
me a survival check.
I'll be right back. I gotta use the restroom.
24 survival.
Roll first.
I'm a chief scavenger.
And he leaves. Nice. Oh, okay. Tired.
I know that feeling.
Especially after throwing up last night.
are not good.
Nope. Yeah, no. Happens every once in a while when I eat too much. I have
Oh,
no
no. Yeah.
perception in terms of so D&D terms there. I have no perception in terms of if I'm full or not. Like my body doesn't just
Fair
naturally tell
enough.
me if I'm full.
Yeah, so if you're enjoying something, you'll just have it
Mhm.
and then be like, oh, crap.
Mhm.
Alright, I'm back.
Roll survival,
Dokily dokily.
and then roll a dexterity saving throw.
Oh shit.
I'm kidding. Just survival.
Alright.
And say, what? Did I scavenge him?
19.
Okay. So you both find scraps of clothing very easily, as most of the people within the slums hang their laundry outside. So you are able to just pluck from what is already available. Mason,
Yeah.
I do need you to make a dexterity saving throw though now.
Now I feel like a
Okay.
criminal.
Dexter, you said saving throw?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
You're fine.
24.
As you're taking a scrap, like a shirt, tunic or whatever it's called, you hear a woman in the distance yell, "Hey, get your hands off my clothes!" And you masterfully dodge a shoe flying towards your head.
Chancla!
Mason will be holding back some trauma he may have had with some past incidents of flying shoes at him. When Nox sees Mason come back, he looks a little white.
As white as the sheet he's carrying.
Mm-hmm.
Knox would just raise an eyebrow and grin slightly. Close call.
What was that saying that you said though?
What, that I said?
Yeah.
Chancla is
No, you said as white as what?
as white as a sheet.
Sheets. Yeah.
Oh. I heard something entirely different and I went, what?
That shouldn't be white.
Yeah. During my first few years under Lady Aerodeth, I made a lot of mistakes in the past, and sometimes when I royally screwed up, she got creative with her punishments.
Oh, I see.
Usually not shoes.
Genuinely. Yeah, no, it's just a lot of flying projectiles at him.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, personally.
Well, it seems that practice did you well. I don't see any bruises.
No physical, just emotional.
Noct would have a wry smile. Suppose that's the advantage of not having much of a memory.
Right, so, these are good, what we got's good enough for, like, just, disguises. Don't have to use, like, my disguise proficiency to make it better.
Maybe to like if someone interrogates you, but to like a person just passing by, not really paying attention, you don't look out of place.
Alright, this should do us well for now.
Very well. It's going to be strange not having my cloak. Though he'd probably still wear it, just sort of thrown back a bit over his shoulders.
Mm-hmm. As
but
you
not too far,
re-enter the
obviously.
town, looking a lot more similarly to everyone else, nobody really pays you any mind. People just go about their business, not really paying you too much attention.
So I take it it's getting on for dark.
It's. You maybe have a quarter of the day left.
Oh, okay. That's not what I had in mind for sneaking into a library.
Why would you have to sneak in?
I thought it was a midnight raid.
Well, it
Didn't
always.
realize it was a civilized visit. Not used to that in this game.
I mean, the libraries have always been open.
True.
We just didn't want to look like we were overstaying our welcome. So
True.
Oh.
True.
yeah.
So as you go in and you enter into the library itself, a woman greets you as you enter and she goes, "Welcome to Athena's library. How may I assist you?"
Mason will do his best, and now this is. I'm pretty sure Mason can do a better accent than Player, but he'd try to go for more like changing his accent to be a little bit more posh.
I'm looking forward to
Hello
this.
there.
God, he will.
Hello there. We were hoping to do some research on different magical weapons. I was wondering if you had any books on that.
Magical weapons are in section 210, all the way through 310.
All right. Is
Is
there
there
any
anything
chance
in
we could?
particular you are looking for? They are categorized based on type and effect and much more.
Um, rapiers, if possible.
Rapiers are in section 301 through 305. Anything else to
Mason
narrow
will
it
definitely.
down?
Mm, no, I don't think any other details could help narrow it down.
Do you have anything on historic fables and legends of betrayal? I do like the dramatic tales.
She thinks for a minute and goes, "Well, there are a lot of betrayals throughout all of history, just in general. Do you know any specific time period?"
I'm afraid I don't. It's certainly from a time ago. Are there any that relate to magic rapiers? Just so that we weren't too far apart in the library. We are researching together after all.
Well, history is all the way in section 500, just in general. I'm trying to think if there was anything to do with a rapier, though. Maybe in section 512. There is a book that talks about a king who used a rapier as his primary weapon. However, a lot of history during that time period was very muddled, so there's no real resolution as to whatever happened to him. It was almost as if the writer just stopped writing.
Oh, that's quite all right. I don't mind a mystery novel.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
In section 512, it should be on the 4th shelf.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
He would sort of nod politely to Mason and look like he's gonna head in that direction.
And before Mason goes, he's going to actually talk to the librarian just a little bit more. Like, I say, when it comes to guards as of lately, it feels like you can't take 5 steps without bumping into one of them.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I never leave the library. All of our
Even
food
if you
gets
don't leave-
delivered, and I stay here.
Oh,
Knox would look back over his shoulder, sort of over the librarian's shoulder, and sort of frown at that.
She doesn't
But not
say it
say
in a
anything.
sad way. She looks very pleased and very excited. Like, in
Such a
no way,
good-
shape, or form is she upset about this fact. She is like, she really does not care that she doesn't go outside. As long as she is in this library, she could care less about the outside world.
Fair play to her. Touche. Live your best life.
Mason will be kind of just going along with the whole. Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. In fact, some may even say that's they get jealous with a lifestyle like that. Really nice and cozy in here.
Yes, it is somewhat cozy, but every now and again you get a little lonely, but our other staff is here. And plus, I'm surrounded by so many books. Endless reading.
No. Knox would, no, he'll save that for on the way out.
Yeah, we can go over to Nox. Player had a question, but it's kind of like slipping out of his mind, so I'd rather not fumble too much.
Alright. They are just banging away down below me, and I know it's picking up on OBS. So I'm sorry to
I can't
people on
hear.
OBS. It's not picking. Discord isn't picking it up because Discord's. I'm using the auto detection for the muting and unmuting, but Discord doesn't have that thing. It's just always going.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a shit ton of banging for a minute there. It's like, god damn it, I had to like mute and unmute myself every time for a minute there. Anyways, you had a question, Mason?
Mason probably was gonna ask some more about like any like rumors that have come around through the library. If anybody's like just the local gossip.
Nope, not really.
All right, he's just gonna give a curt nod as he's gonna go follow Knox. Like, thank you very much.
No problem. If you need any other help, I'll be sitting right here.
And as he's just gonna walk away, he gives and this is a woman, right?
Mhm.
He's gonna just give her a sly little wink and just walk away.
She does not reciprocate.
Oh, it's fine. Just
If she's that much of an introvert, she probably just gets like incredibly flustered and probably chokes on air.
oh, it's fine. Mason's just having a little fun.
Jesus fucking Christ, what the fuck are they doing?
That's what she said.
It literally sounds like they're like two people going at, because like it's happening below me and it's obviously against a wall, and like it just sounds like someone pounding against the wall having fornication, like, and it's in like a frequent beat too, so it's like it, to the untrained ear, it could very well sound like someone's going at it.
You have a trained ear for such things?
Oh my.
Yeah. Silent.
Anyways, you go to your sections. Mason, you reach your section, your set of sections first,
Hmm.
and you start going through the books. Um, you do find one book that is very vague in terms of its how can I put this into words? It is very I can't speak anymore. Okay, it is very vague in the in the fact that it doesn't give just one set of effects.
Hmm.
It is about spirit possessed rapiers. But it is very vague, and it pretty much, just to sum it up, pretty much says that the spirit contained within it is completely different, and depending on what spirit it is, has a range of different effects that the rapier can have upon the wielder.
Feel a little disappointed, but just keep it in the side, show it to Nox.
Nox, do you stay with him or do you go to your section?
Given the fact his section had a lower number, I would assume that it was on the way, so he'd probably travel to there with him and then hang around for a little bit, then move on to find his.
Okay. So you move on before he finds his book. And
Also, I want to say that in this library, he would be keeping a quizzical eye out for anything that looks like it may be a doorway to the university.
okay. So you go to your section, and you find the book almost immediately. The shelves in this section are pretty bare, as as the bookcase itself is labeled before written history. And as you can see, there's not really a lot of history that has been preserved since from that time period. Before history was like officially written down to be recounted. Sure, there was writings and stuff like that, but like day-to-day affairs, events that happened, none of those were ever written down or accounted for. So during this time period, there's not a lot like known about like what exactly happened. You do find this book almost immediately. It is about a king. His name is Leonard von Mark. It describes him as a bachelor king, one who does not have a queen by his side. As the story goes on, he tries to find a lover, and after eventually finding one and being married to that lover, years later they give birth to a daughter, and at that point, after that point, that the daughter is not named. It is just daughter, and neither is the lover. It is just lover. But after that point, that it sort of just cuts off in terms of the story, and the next page you flip over is someone completely different.
Hmm. I suppose Knox would probably try and spend some time sort of transcribing this
Mm-hmm.
to have a copy himself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just so that he can keep all the information relevant.
Okay. It takes a little time. Once you finish, you put the book back and you go back to see Mason. And by the time you reach Mason, Mason has finished reading his book.
Alrighty. Anything of note?
Nothing too much that we don't know already, as he'll just kind of explain on the processing on that with the how magical weapons have different properties to them. So, not much. I hope you got something better than me.
Well, if it's the king himself, I have a name. But the author, just as the lady said, just suddenly stops writing.
That's makes me think of like olden times when tribes of people would just pass stories to each other back and forth. A lot of details got lost in translation, I guess.
True, though they were writing it quite enthusiastically, and then the next page, nothing. They're just written by someone else.
I do apologize for the drill noises for everyone else listening. I know you guys can't hear it because Discord didn't pick it up, but it did pick up in Discord and OBS. Construction happening below me, always fun.
So the story that was immediately after the Kings was completely random?
So the book itself is about lovers. The is about love throughout history. The story after it was a little more detailed, but it had nothing to do with
No bearing on the first.
kingdoms, no nothing. It was almost like a Romeo and Juliet story.
Okie dokie.
Hmm.
Well, that's
You
got
think-
plenty of betrayal in it.
Think the lover possibly stabbed the king in the back?
Or the daughter.
Yeah. We had a little bit more details. The librarian would have heard about this king?
When it mentioned the lover, was the lover different to, like, was there a wife and a lover on the side, or was there, like, any
It does not
hint of
say.
that? It just specifically focuses on the lover and the daughter that they had.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
It doesn't even describe the lover or the daughter. It goes into more detail about Leonard than it does anyone else.
Okay. It's definitely focused more on the king himself.
Kinda weird.
Yes, but there's enough there, I think, to provoke a reaction out of the spirit if it is indeed the king.
Yes. So it still bothers me if this rapier has such a powerful evil being. Why was it given to me? And I tried to exercise it.
Maybe your order has something to do with its history.
Maybe. Lady Aerodeth. Well, I've known her pretty much my whole life. She never gave everything in black and white. Kept a lot of things to herself, or things that I just will probably never know. That's
This is
just
true.
my life. Over there in my hometown, it was always interesting, at least. You think we
Well, there
should,
must be a reason.
yeah. You think we should try communion with the spirit, or you think we should do some more research here?
I don't think we should try too often to commune with them.
All right. Mason will go back to the librarian and ask about the king real quick.
Leonard von Mark? That is an interesting name. Von Mark. Von Mark. There is a section on Leandra von Mark.
That would get Nox's attention. And what is
She,
her relation to him?
Not
Yeah.
really. No, her section is within technology and advancement. She was an artificer.
Quite odd.
She made a lot of the technology that people use day to day, every day.
She wasn't a weaponsmith, was she?
Oh no. More practical matters, like the street lamps. She
see.
invented the first street lamps that illuminated cities. She invented a way that the guards could close the gates more easily and quickly without, whilst during an invasion or under attack, losing less men in the process.
She cared for her people.
She created a whole deal of things, including a lot of magical things. But as for anything else about her, there isn't really anything written. It's mainly about the technology she's made.
So nothing's known of her lineage?
Unfortunately, not really. After her death, she didn't have any spouse. She never had any children, so that was it.
And how long ago was this?
Oh, I think she died about 500 years ago.
Was the spirit
Hmm?
in the rapier definitely male?
Yes, definitely male.
Okay. Alright.
He took on a male humanoid figure. It wasn't very clear as to like his race or anything, but it was definitely like a male humanoid figure.
Okay. Oh, that is interesting. I wonder if it's the mysterious daughter.
Hmm. I think that's all that we can gather for now. Thank you very much for pointing us in the right direction.
No problem. Happy to help.
As unless Knox wants to do any more research on different things.
No.
Nox, as you're facing the
I
front
suppose.
of the desk, to your left are the things that you were looking for. The transportation thing to the main library.
Is it quite obvious?
It's just against a wall. It's not like blocked or anything.
But it's like she would know what it is.
Yeah.
All right. He would look at it and say, "Does that still function?" I've seen them in most libraries.
Yes. They all function. Although it is
And
one person at a time. We had one person try doing two, and that did not turn out well.
Yes, I can quite imagine teleportation magic can be fickle.
Yeah, they kind of fused together. It was not a pretty sight.
Well, I know a little thing about that. And so people are welcome to use it?
Unfortunately, only members of the university can use it.
Well, that's convenient. Nox would just leave it at that and say, I may be back. And maybe a more favourable route than what I was planning to take.
No problem. Just remember, we are in all major cities.
Thank you. And with
Oh.
that, he would go to leave.
Mm-hmm. And you leave. Outside, people are going about their business. Not really much. It is now more towards the afternoon. Basically spent a whole night in there doing research. You guys are pretty tired, but not like exhaustion level of tired.
Yeah.
As it's the afternoon, there are in the park across the way. You see a bunch of children playing around in the park,
Yeah.
as well as a lot of couples in doing picnics and just chilling.
Well, looks like we narrowed down our possible subjects on who this spirit could be.
Indeed. I'm intrigued.
So sad we couldn't figure out who possibly could be the person that wronged him. We got two, either the daughter or the lover. Which, the more that I think about it, I think it's weird how come it's saying lover instead of wife. Like, could be just a side thing or something a wedlock. Just nothing official.
Well, the book itself was focused on the lover element rather than the identities of the people involved.
I get that.
I could
It's
very
just
much
a
imagine.
weird thing. It's just a weird thing of phrasing, is all I'm getting at.
Oh, certainly.
Where you guys want to go?
Mason will be looking around, seeing if he sees any more like things coming in the corner of his eyes, more activity.
Roll me perception.
Okay. 13.
You see nothing. just the standard bit about what I gave you before.
I'm not seeing as much activity right now from our other fellows.
Hmm. Well, what do you propose we do?
Well, we could stay here and see if anything happens throughout the night. Though we're gonna have to, of course, take a little hit on our sleep schedule.
Well, it's not been too taxing a day. Bit of research.
Yeah. Or we can, like I said, mess around, see if we can commune with the spirits. I think those are our only two options for now.
We definitely want a secure location to be doing that.
Oh yeah, better than what we got now.
If we were to travel a little further afield, I could potentially set up some accommodation.
You just point and I'll follow. Whatever you decide, friend.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I suppose retroactively, if possible, Nox may have tried to gather a little bit of basic information about the Mellow Woods.
Okay.
Um,
Roll
if
me. Roll me just straight up charisma.
oh geez,
Just straight up charisma.
my worst one. 14.
It's not bad. Uh, a lot of people are open to giving information about the Mellow Woods. Most people say it's very pleasant to go through. There is a slight path that is not. It's not super well done because most people will go through the ferry, which goes down the river,
Hmm.
which is just a day away, and it will bring them down to the river, stop right, basically right next to the city walls itself, and will go back upstream, back to the town itself. But people do say there is a slight walkable path that you can go through, and that it is very pleasant. It is very pretty. If you go through at night, you may see some fireflies buzzing around, or some other twinkly lights kind of going around peacefully through the forest. Um, Other than that, you don't hear too much bad things about it.
Sounds like it's aptly named.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nox would turn to Mason and say, if we were to head into the Mellow Woods, I believe I could set up there. We'd be undisturbed and out of sight from the main city. Plus, I believe it would be a more favorable location for Fenrir when he catches up.
Oh, for sure. Especially since I think he's getting tired of being behind walls.
Yes, absolutely, and I myself wouldn't mind a nice woodland setting that doesn't try to enchant us.
Oh yeah, as long as it won't try to possess us like it does in my hometown.
That'd raise an eyebrow from Nox.
So,
Well,
Jesus.
to be honest, in my hometown, you remember that little side activity we did? Yeah, it happens a lot more frequently than you would think.
I see.
Yeah, that's besides Lady Airdeth's teaching. The town has some basics, do's and don'ts when it comes to stuff like that. People just either lose this thing called common sense or, you know, emotions get behind them.
Certainly good to know.
Yeah. On the travels there, from just all the walking from different locations, would Mason have taught Knox the mental, like, training?
Oh yeah, the
No.
protection.
No?
That takes years uh to do.
Okay.
Like literal years for you to be able to even somewhat grasp the concept.
Yeah. I think Mason would just be giving little tidbits on, like, the teachings that he's learned
Yeah,
to
they're
just one
not
lesson.
helpful at all. The little tidbits he gives Knox are not helpful at all. They're like it's like he's talking to you in a foreign language.
I imagine him just giving him like a really blank look whenever he starts going off on it, and he's like really passionate about it and really into it, and Nox is just not getting it.
So you guys make it to the edge of the mellow woods. It is just as people say. It is very chill. Um, there is somewhat of a tree line that gets a little bit thicker as you go in, but not super thick. Um, yeah.
So Nox would head in, and he would intend to go about probably 20 minutes off the beaten path, in the direction of like the sun through the canopy.
Okay. So there is no
So he knew.
technical path. There is like a slight pathway, but if you're not like paying attention to it, you could easily go off path.
Yeah. It's not too bad with tracking and woodlands and things. But his general intention is to go away from the path to set up his residence.
Yep. You are sufficiently within the woods.
Right, I'll
You found enough space between the trees that you'll be fine to set up.
give me some time. And
Go
I will
ahead and
make
roll
sure
me that D10.
that does. 10.
Oof, 10 damage for that one.
Bop.
As Mason, are you watching him doing this, or are you kind of like looking out everywhere else?
Has Mason seen this before?
No.
No. Mason would be kind of like, if you need me, holler for me. As he'll basically do a look, he'll do a lookout just in case so they don't get like jumped.
Go ahead and roll me perception.
Yeah. 23.
You hear a big crack and crash from behind you, and as you look behind you, there's a giant hut which was not there before.
Yeah, Mason definitely has his regular rapier outs, in kind of like a ready position, just in case. And he's gonna be looking, see if anything's like happened toward Knox.
Nox would be just getting up, and he kind of just dusts his hands off.
Yeah, and he would glance over at Mason, seeing him all on alert, and be like, "Did you hear something?"
He's gonna just kind of motion towards the hut and just kind of fingers to lips, like,
Knox would sort of casually glance over his shoulder and go, "I told you I would sort accommodations out." And he would just turn around and open the door and say, "Come on in."
He'll
and
put
disappear
back
in
his
time.
rapier. It's like, eh,
So,
know
I don't
that
think we
magic.
ever intended this when we were creating this hut, Nox.
Oh,
But this hut kind of looks like like a pair of balls bridged together in the center. Because as you enter, there's a tiny little hallway, and then there's one circular room that has like a fire pit in like a makeshift like kitchen type. What's those little cast iron pots that they use?
Cauldron.
Yeah, cauldron above like an unlit fire hearth in the center of the room. That if they take it off, it could be used as like a bonfire. And to your left is another circular room that is full of hammocks and pillows and blankets and all types of sleeping stuff.
The Knox Hotel.
Huh. This is interesting.
Thank you. I carved it myself.
I'll be honest. Even though I lived with Lady Airdeath for so long, even I get surprised by what magic can do.
Yes, this magic was somewhat of a surprise to myself also.
That's why I was a little bit on guard. I didn't think something like this would pop up,
Well, it
or at least
hasn't.
of this caliber. Let me put it more like that.
You would see Knox take a little bit pride pride in that last comment. Well, it was a lot of work and sacrifice.
Yeah. Hmm. Uh, here, as he just pulls out a flute and does a quick healing word.
Oh,
I'm gonna be nice and do it at second level. 8, yeah, 8 points.
okay. You have my thanks. Right. If you would be so kind as to help me clear one of these rooms. The one with the fire pit would probably be ideal, given that it'll allow me to cast shadows.
Yeah, sure. As he'll get everything as like best set up as he can.
So Nox would aim to have the circle of salt sort of in the corridor bit with his back to the fire pit. Um, circle of salt around him, circle of salt around the sword, and then use the shadow from the fire pit to bridge the gap. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because it's to trap, not to protect, isn't it?
Yeah, and I remember it's like you were trying to snap your fingers during the session to be like, huh, you're like, circle around you, but it actually appeared underneath your character in that space.
Yeah. Because so when I enter their world, the salt's around me as protection, but in our world, the salt is around them as a prison. So like roles reverse. So he would look around the area and see if there's any architectural signs of the times, because he assumes it's tied to the mental state of the entity. Um, yeah, but didn't know if there would be any details other than the blood. Hmm. 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 Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you still haven't answered a few questions. Well, you seek vengeance on everyone, but to every great revenge story, there's always a catalyst, someone who gets the ball rolling, shall we say? Who betrayed you? Were you known as Leonidas in life? Or was it Leonard? It was Leonard. Leonard. I keep thinking
Yeah.
Leonidas because I think of a king. Um, were you known as... Mm,
I've been on mute this whole time. Have you heard me?
no, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what that mutes then. Maybe OBS. So, I will
Blank stream.
start again. He is on the spirit is sitting on the hilt. It is in a chair-like fashion where his feet are just on the sword. Um, and Nox is asked him a question. The first question he asked, he answered with the phrase "more specific," and now he is sizing him up as he looks at Unox and he goes, "How do you know that name?"
Well, when faced with someone uncompliant, one has to do one's own research. And I read a story, and I'm trying to work out if you were the subject or the writer.
I do not know. For I do not
But you
know
do know...
which book you speak of. What are books?
Oh my, I'd have thought you better educated than that.
I can read and write just perfectly fine. Reports, attacks, day-to-day affairs. But what are
Yet
books?
books hold tales and stories. Sometimes of history, sometimes of one's imagination.
Why would one want to write about their own imagination? The only thing that anyone should be worried about is their next meal ticket, and the vengeance upon which they will gather their strength.
Not the words of a king.
I am no king.
So an author, perhaps. You certainly seem to be a writer.
I am
Or
no
good with your
writer.
words.
I am well educated, but that is all. The trade of business requires it.
Very true. And what was your business?
Many things.
You were an opportunist?
It's for a time, and an opportunist for slaves, yes.
That would raise an eyebrow from Nox, which would be fairly swiftly followed by a deep frown. Slaves?
Yes.
My,
Whilst
my.
I peer upon this time as an immortal soul trapped within this sword that nobody wishes to touch, except for you, apparently. I have seen as history has frowned upon slaves, at least in certain areas. The Tyr Empire seems to think that slavery is still okay, whilst the rest of the kingdoms view it as more as a transaction than anything else. For payment, or for causing wrongdoing.
Yes, I would imagine there are internships, well, internments for people who have done wrong. And they have to work off their sentence. But mostly now, those who work are paid for their service. So everyone can get their meal ticket, as you say, and take care of the next transaction.
Everyone gets paid, no matter what they do. Those who result in slavery are those who steal, or those who lack the funds to pay.
Some
As
people just
he
enjoy
begins to
inflicting
talk
misery upon
more and
others.
more as a merchant, his form becomes a little bit more solid and defined.
Oh, okay. Anything identifiable?
Not yet. But
So
you
how
can now see facial expressions.
you cool. Nox, I reckon Nox would sit cross-legged in front of him. Almost sort of a peace gesture, sort of a respect gesture, and he would imagine that in his time, if he was well educated, he would have had students sit in front of him in the same sense. So he's trying to give him a little sense of his past, I suppose, in that regard. to try and make him relax and talk more. So slavery was common in your time.
It was fairly common. Mostly I dealt in slave collars, not the actual people.
You were a crafter.
No, I would obtain the slave collars from means and would sell them.
So indirectly involved.
Yes. Mostly
That's-
kings and nobles would buy the collars. There were also some groups that were more unsavory, but coin is coin.
Very true. Did you have business partners?
No, never. On your own road, alone, traveling the world.
You must have seen a lot of the world.
Yes and no. I never
What was the
actually got to this end of the coast before.
Oh, so it's only as you've travelled here as the sword that you've travelled to this side.
Yes.
I take it the landscape has changed dramatically, particularly in the south since your time.
The Empire of Ulv has changed dramatically. Other than that, in terms of landscape and landmarks, mountains and such, mostly the same.
The uncharted
Some
land.
may have gotten more taller. Oh, what place?
The large region to the south.
I do not know.
I suppose it's another area you never quite made.
I've never been there myself.
I see. Did you know anything of it?
Not at all.
I suppose without books, such news was lesser known. It travels better these days.
Now my question.
Go ahead.
When will you let me in? And he
Well,
points
you have.
to just right beside your foot. There is a shadow just poking. And it is not connecting as the salt circle is protecting you.
Well, such things are based on trust, and you are still extremely evasive.
I am also still extremely hostile.
And you think that works in your favor for reasoning this point?
Bathe my sword in blood. It is all I
I've already made you a more than generous offer on that front.
Yes, but I would rather not have cooperation.
Well, your options are continued exile or cooperation.
And what about neither? There's always a third option.
Not from where you stand right now.
And why not? The Enchantress
right.
fawned over me for many years. She believed Mason would be able to help.
I do not doubt this. However, we need to know how we can help.
That is not
And I
for
do
me
not
to discuss.
believe a wanton bloodbath is the way. Mason is careful and precise in his actions. Your method would certainly not appeal.
Let me in, and I will show you his true nature.
You've already made it quite clear that you wish to dominate, not to share. So it would be your nature you would be showing me.
Domination is the only way to win. It's a kill or be killed world out there. And if you are not willing to dominate, you will die in the dirt.
Well, I thought this conversation was going places, but old habits, I see.
And he disappears.
And Knox would withdraw.
And as you withdraw, the salt circle breaks. As you get up and you put the sword back in its sheath, you realize that it is nearly nightfall.
That took longer than expected.
Mason,
You
as Nox was kind of just doing this, what are you doing in the house?
Well, he would probably be more going through his journal, through a lot of his different notes, making sure, like, casually, like, looking up, uh, making sure Nox doesn't get possessed. Right now, you probably would see Jason, his back turned, just writing down in a notebook.
He's certainly a stubborn one, and he's not our king.
Oh, Nox, so I guess that lead we got was bust?
He knew the king, I'm sure of it. His reaction was most peculiar when I mentioned the name. Defensive, almost. I almost suspect that the king was the one who betrayed him, but I have no way of knowing that just yet. He spoke like a merchant, and he dealt in slave collars.
Slave collars.
And quite interestingly, the enchantress that gave him to you, was under firm belief that you would help him. Or be of help to him, I'm not quite sure.
Well, always worth a shot just to jump in head first, but something as dangerous as this, I don't want to be taking out this spirit's frustration out on others.
He is bloodthirsty, and he seems to think that you are too.
and you don't know me at all. All I care about is getting people happiness. Getting them that bit of closure in their life, whether it be in this life or the next.
Well,
You don't know me.
what would give this one happiness and closure is absolute bloodshed. So, if he did manage to latch onto your wish to do so as such, he could probably turn it into a destructive force if he blinded you to your reason.
Yeah.
I think, understandably, the bloodshed is just rage for and desire for revenge. I firmly believe that if we can find and address the root cause of the problem, we can probably find a suitable resolution that would
Yeah.
tame him somewhat.
One thing is for sure that we did at least learn. He does know about me.
He does. He certainly does.
He also knows where he is.
That, for some reason, that had completely gone over my head until you said that.
Same.
Yep.
So, yeah, Nox would sit and look a little puzzled for a second. And then he would say, its sentience extends beyond its prison in the weapon. It is aware of its travels and where it is, and who it has been with. It knows it's on the east coast of this continent, and it knows where it has traveled before and how the passage of time has changed certain things.
Well, that's definitely an interesting fact. Kind of makes me worried, and actually kind of makes me want to figure this out even more. I mean, just think about it. Being trapped in a piece of metal for God knows when till you get rusted off and just fade like dust in the wind.
Yeah, no one deserves a fate like that.
No. I gotta be honest too. Fenrir, yeah, he's got his quirks about him, but he can control those quirks. I don't know if I can control this sword.
Well, that is my concern. I'm not sure the sword can control itself.
Yeah. And with the type of issues that we're dealing with, yeah, there's no point where losing control is ever going to be a good option.
I agree. But it's certainly not going to be an easy thing to address. He could make
Yeah.
for a powerful ally. Knowledgeable
Yeah.
too, I would imagine. He's very well educated, but
Give
very
us a good
dangerous.
give us a good perception of things that we may not be aware of since he's related to other countries within the past. He could possibly have connections and knowledge of things that even kings don't have nowadays.
Indeed. Yes, there's much to think on.
Yeah. Think he could have been like an advisor or maybe a relative of Leonard Renard.
Very difficult to say. It is entirely possible, of course.
Because usually, from what I remember, a lot of royalty, uh, their their younger siblings would either be war generals or right-hand counselors or merchants if they weren't involved directly with the politics.
That's interesting. He seemed resentful when he said he was no king.
Maybe, maybe it was taken from him. Maybe he was supposed to be king.
Or maybe he was the husband of the lover.
Possibly. Either way, don't think we're gonna find any more info in the library, sadly. Unless we go to the college. Maybe they have something.
I agree. There's certainly more information that is needed, but we have gleaned more than I thought we had, I believe.
Yeah.
You
But
hear a
one
knock
thing's
on
for
the
sure.
door.
Who dat?
I don't know. Why don't you go look? Why do I have a
Wait.
new message?
Hang on.
Which one
Someone's
of you
not
messaged me?
on
Oh.
my hut
Yep.
in the middle of the forest.
Yep.
Okay, that would definitely get a very strange reaction from Nox.
Yeah.
Wait.
Mason, firebolt in hands.
Wait. How do you respond to this? Wait. I gotta expand this out. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Someone knocked on the door.
Yeah, Nox would likely prepare a spell as well.
What spell are you preparing?
Nah, let's go old school. Sleep.
Okay. As you look out the window above the door, you see the enchantress.
Oh, that's trippy. Okay. Yeah, he would just open the door and look very perplexed, but be polite. This time you visit our home.
Yes. I was in the neighborhood, about to pass through. I had an errand to run nearby before I crossed the invisible veil. Might I stay the night?
By all means, if you extended us such an offer, I would be glad to return the favor.
As you let her in, she looks around and she goes, huh. Interesting shape.
It's practical.
And she goes into the room with the bonfire. And she goes, oh, why, hello, Mason.
As he's going to smile and tip his hat. Good to see you.
Fortuitous timing.
Oh, how so?
Oh, we've been having some interesting conversations with that sword you gifted to Mason.
Oh. Interesting. I would have thought you would have dealt with it by now.
It's not exactly being compliant.
Never really was to begin with.
Yeah, and it's throwing some pretty serious accusations towards me.
Like?
How me and it have a very similar Oh, what's the word? Bloodthirsting,
Constitution.
bloodthirsting appetites. I guess you could put it.
He views everyone in that manner. He viewed myself in that manner. I have no need for bloodshed.
Okay.
He
I'll be
probably
honest,
views
I was
Nox
quite.
in that matter as well. Although Nox, I think, would be a little more inclined to bloodshed, depending on the enemy.
Nox sort of looks around the room a bit. Shots fired.
Well, I'll be honest. I do appreciate the gift. Truly, I do. It's more of a case of, well, you know Lady Aerodeth and her teachings. Always be wary of any and every, whether it be gift or threats. So,
That is very
I
true. I had hoped you
had
would
to make
help this. What do you call them? Ghosts?
spirits.
Spirits? I would hope that you would help this spirit pass and be gone from being chained to this world.
But
That's what we're
unfinished
working on.
business seems to be wanton destruction.
Yes, well, I'm afraid he's about 4 centuries too late.
Well, telling him that might help, but equally, he seems to want revenge on everyone and everything.
Yes, well, that is a vengeful spirit for you.
Comes with the
Yeah.
territory, I suppose.
But still, I just didn't want to take the risk and it unintentionally taking its anger out on innocent people.
Oh, if it possesses you, it will. I don't really have a doubt in that. This is one of the strongest spirits I've seen possessing an item.
And how exactly do you think we can help this?
I don't entirely know myself.
Yet you thought we would have already dealt with it. I'm
I.
partly flattered, partly confused.
Lady Erideth speaks very fondly of Mason.
Yeah, he'll be scratching the back of his neck. Oh, that's good to know.
I will not say I am disappointed. It just proves that maybe Lady Zerodeth is exaggerating a little bit.
Nox would look to Mason and say, by the sounds of it, it sounds as if you should be the one trying to fix this, not me.
Well, honestly, it's for anyone to fix. I gave it to Mason because of his connections with spirits and his ability to commune with them. But Nox, you also seem to have a similar ability, all but vastly different.
Oh,
I was not aware that you actually would be able to even commune with it, Nox.
I have a lot of peculiar abilities.
I see that now.
well, looks like I may just have to jump onto the deep end with this one then. As Mason's going to go up to Nox, holding out his hands. I'm pretty sure you can knock my ass out if things go wrong.
Maybe we should draw a circle around you just in case.
Yeah. Yep, that would be appreciated.
I would hate to have to rely on our guest.
Which
She kind of
before I
just
do
smiles at where she sits.
before we do this, there is a quick question.
Yes.
Lady Aerodeth did mention passing beyond the invisible veil, and you were about to do it too. Sorry for my ignorance on this one, since at the time she mentioned this may have been the last time I was going to see her at the time. But what is that? What does it mean?
I suppose you should know since, well, you are the ones who we predict will save the world from this impending evil. Although nothing is certain, so who knows? She takes out an old map that is on a large... It's a scroll of parchment. She unfolds it to unreveal a large map. In the center is the continent of Nari. There are 8 other continents surrounding it. She takes out a quill and ink, dips it, and draws 2 straight lines top to bottom, 2 diagonal lines from left to right. She puts away the ink and quill, and you see now that every continent is within its own square. She goes, these lines are the invisible veil. If, let's say, a fisherman were to attempt to cross this line, they will appear, let's say it's within Nari, they will appear on the other side.
So it's not possible to cross between the lands.
It is. You just have to know how.
But there is a ward in place to prevent it, effectively.
Yes. This was created, in fact, to help control and stop the spread of the Demon Prince's power when he first came to Nari. These veils were put up by the gods long, long ago to stop his influence and to stop his spread of power. Luckily, they did it in time to where they kept him localized within Nari itself. But just as you cannot commune with others outside of your continent, neither can they.
So why is it that you pass beyond?
All gods are able to pass. Since we mortal gods are recognized as gods, we are allowed to pass through.
But to what end? Why is it that so many seem to be leaving this plane?
We aim to avoid calamity, regroup, and form a plan. A way to stop calamity from happening. Or at least, if it does happen before we have time to act, a way to deal with it.
I see.
But we mustn't get caught up within the calamity itself, or nothing will be done.
And that's where we come in, I suppose.
You are predicted by most of the gods and most of us to be the ones who will defeat him. To what end, we do not know, and to what degree, we also do not know. The future is shrouded in more pathways than there are stars in the sky.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Just growing up in my town, I know it was an interesting town, but never would have considered like a chosen one out of this. I figured I'd be solving cases till I meet my own case or in my own casket.
Oh,
So to
let me
say.
be clear, none of you were chosen. No one chose you for this position. There have been equally amount of opportunities in your past to have never to lead to this point.
We just feel we have the best chance.
Exactly.
Even if it's based on probability, it's still a lot to think about.
Yes, well, there is one more whose fate is still unclear. One whom you are very familiar with, Nox.
I'm gonna go along and say they're furry.
I would not necessarily say furry.
And I don't know. Oh, feathery.
Feathery is a good word to describe this person.
Yeah, Nox would look rather, well, very thoughtful for a moment. And sort of go a bit quiet.
He's being steered, but into what direction we don't know. And to what end we do not know either.
His heart's in the right place, but this is not a means to an end that we need.
No.
So, you wish to commune with this blade? He says,
Yeah.
refocusing his attention on Mason.
Yes, let's just pull the bandage off and just do my best.
Well, before you do, Nox would cast... Not really the use for it, but he's gonna go with it anyway. He's gonna cast Warding Bond on Mason.
Okay.
Um,
Remind me what that does.
So you touch a willing creature, and it creates a mystic connection between the two of you until the target until the spell ends. While the target's within 60 feet of you, gain a +1 bonus to AC and saving throws, and they have resistance to all damage. Also, each time it takes damage, you take the same amount of damage. So you basically share vitality.
Do you share... So are you linked within your minds?
Effectively.
Okay.
And as a result, we gain resistance to all damage, but we both take it. Gain bonuses to saving throws and so on and so forth.
All right, Mason, are you ready?
Yep, as he's going to be connecting with the blade.
All right. You drew the salt circle around him.
Damn right.
All right, Mason, go ahead and attune to that blade. I'm gonna need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Hey. I am very poor at those. 9.
The spirit takes over, and Mason keeps on muttering, "Vengeance, vengeance, vengeance."
Bear in mind, I mean, I know it wouldn't have been high enough, but he would have got a 10 because he has +1.
At 10.
No, he rolled an 8.
Oh, did he?
He rolled an 8
Hold up.
+1, so that's 9.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
then-
so he doesn't have a natural. He doesn't have a +1 himself then.
Oh no, I do. I rolled an 8, but my wiz save is a +1.
Yeah, it's a wisdom.
9.
Okay, and then because of warding bond, you would have got another +1.
Oh, so
That's 10.
Well, he still failed.
Not that I think. Yeah, I was
Sorry.
going to say I don't think it would have helped, but I just thought I'd throw that in there.
He starts muttering and muttering and muttering, and then he stops and he goes, "Oh, a connection." Nox, can you please make me a wisdom saving throw?
Sure. What could go wrong? Okay, that could go wrong. 14.
You also fail, just by 1 this time. Both of you are out of control of your characters at this point.
I don't know if I actually.
Nox,
I've got inspiration. Actually, but I don't know
what
if it actually works.
kind of blade do you have on you again?
I don't think I actually have a blade on me.
You bring out your longbow, and with the same movement of taking it out, you swipe the salt circle beneath Mason and break it. And Mason simultaneously brings out his sword.
Would the spirit be able to break the salt circle even indirectly?
That's a good question.
Because the whole point of salt is to protect against spirits.
That is true. I'm going to say he cannot, then. Mason draws his sword ready as you point the longbow directly at the enchantress.
No, that's not gonna
With
end well.
the intent to fire, I'm going to need you to make me another wisdom saving throw. Oh, you rolled me a wisdom check. Wait 1 second.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I get another +4
4.
on top of that.
You are perfectly fine. Ignore everything I just said.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
I just noticed you rolled a wisdom check, not a save. No, you're perfectly fine. You feel him trying to invade your mind. Do you block out? Do you stop the connection?
I wouldn't stop the warding bond with Mason, but I would try to, through like conversations I had with, I can never remember her name, Lady Eridath, and that. I would kind of try to close off while staying open. That makes sense. Like, I would try to protect myself, but not sever the bond.
Okay. Roll me. Oh, this has been a while since we've done this. Roll me a control check. Roll me control, which is at the bottom of your skills.
That is a 22.
You are able to keep him out and not close the connection. For those of you who don't know, just a little side bit, control is a check that I have made for Nox specifically, in case people want to invade his mind while he's doing something, or whilst he's invading someone's mind, someone else is trying to invade him. It essentially makes it so that he can protect himself whilst staying in and not have to completely lose himself out of the moment. So, like, being able to multitask, essentially.
It's all about the multitasking.
Yep. All right. So you're able to do that. Mason is completely lost. He is having the sword and he is banging on that barrier with the sword. What do you do?
He would look to the Enchantress.
She's just sitting
And
there
so-
smiling.
You're enjoying this a little too much. You know that, right?
Oh, this is plenty of entertainment. I didn't think I would get this much entertainment after visiting you.
He would just roll his eyes slightly. Oh, I forgot I had those in my inventory.
Forgot you had what in your inventory?
I just saw the pure white wings of Sarah from the Angelic Huntress who stalked me and Keck across the Alexandrian Mountains. I forgot I took the wings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you did take her wings.
Not sadistic at all, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyway, moving on. What can I do to you? So Nox would look to the Enchantress and said, "You said he's a ghost, right?"
Spirits. Yes.
Worth a try. I've not done this in a while. Nox would thrust out his hands, his eyes would flash, and he would cast Channel Divinity, Turn Undead. I'm really making you think, aren't I?
How would that work, though?
He envisions it more of making his presence retreat. Because obviously he can't run away. The only way he could flee is back into the blade.
So, in turn, you're trying to summon an undead for him to be dragged into.
No. Turn undead, so it causes the undead to run, to flee. It repels the dead.
Okay.
And,
okay.
I mean, he's technically dead.
Do I need to do anything?
Okay, so they can do a wisdom saving throw, and they have to beat a 16.
Well, they failed that. Mason is back to his normal self.
Yeah.
Mason,
Grabbing his head.
everything from the point where you unsheathed the blade until now is completely blank.
He's just gonna look around like, what just happened?
You need to focus a little harder if you want to play with that sword.
I would agree, sweetie.
Well, most of the cases of ghosts communicating with me. Usually I had other people, which thank God I did with this, usually helping me exorcise the spirits. And really, it was mostly Lady Aerodeth. I was just more of the communicator.
And I would imagine you don't usually have a physical connection with them.
No, it just long time ago, Lady Airdeath saved me. I nearly died. She said it was like I was caught between the veil of life and death. So that's how come I'm able to commune with spirits. That's just it. Just communing. Not like I physically messed with them a lot.
Mason. Inadvertently, because of this, you have now fully attuned to the blade.
Hey. Well,
Yep.
I definitely feel a connection now with me and the blade, though.
Well, I would try to continue this while I still have this magic active. I may yet be able to repel it again if it goes awry.
Alright, as he makes sure the salt circle's still fine, he's gonna try again and commune with the spirit. Another wisdom save?
With advantage?
Yes, it's gonna be another wisdom save.
Okay.
Actually,
Oh,
it's gonna be a different save. Just give me one. It's gonna be a different thing. Just give me 1 second.
Dun, dun, dun.
Alrighty, go ahead and refresh your character sheet for me.
Ooh, you have a spooky save.
You should see under your skills now, control.
I don't feel
That's it.
special anymore.
This, whilst yours is to repel people from invading your mind, his purpose is for the sword not to get into him.
Yeah, I get it. I'm joking.
So this would be an ability check?
It would be a skill check, yes.
Could I do Bardic Inspiration to help me with this, or no, just straight?
No, just straight up.
Alright.
If I could add saves, I would be able to add saves, and it would be a save. For you specifically, it would be a save. It would be more considered a save than a skill.
Oh. Okay, so should we do like +3 with that to the +3, so it's like a 6? Or just
I think I gave you proficiency to it, didn't I?
no,
If
no,
it-
I don't have
If
proficiency
it's
with
a
it.
save, warding bond would give him a +1. But if it's
Oh.
a skill check, it wouldn't.
Semantics aside for now, he got 21.
That's
Okay.
pretty decent.
What are you attempting to do specifically?
Mostly kind of like what Nox was doing in trying to commune with the spirits, try to talk with it.
He goes, I wasn't expecting you to talk to me so soon. Are you going to bathe me in blood? Please do.
The only bathing I do is soap and water. I can definitely clean you up with some oil and grease, though.
Ugh. Blood will do.
Sorry, fresh out of that for now. I need that in my system.
I'm not talking about your blood. Of course I need you and your blood within you. But take Nox over there. Why don't you go ahead and just stab him through?
No. Because, you see, there's a fun little thing about that fellow over there. He and me, I don't know if you understand the situation, but we're here to try to stop the world from ending.
Oh? Why would you want
Yes.
that?
Well, for one, I'd like to continue living.
Sounds boring.
Two, there's a lot of innocent people that don't deserve that.
No one is innocent. And he says that with such disdain.
As Mason just won't back down. If he could like see his like face, he's kind of like gritting. Everyone deserves life.
No one deserves life.
Everyone deserves life, but doesn't mean everybody is fair. I mean life is fair.
Life is a piece of horseshit.
Yes, it can be. But it's got good in it too. Look, it's been centuries. Or 1,000 years. That's what Trent just said, right?
She said 400 years too late, I think.
It's been 400 years. People that you hate are gone.
Their descendants aren't. I feel them. It's almost as
Who are
if I
they?
can reach out and touch them. They should all be dead. No one should live.
But who are they?
Give me 1 second to grab the name.
Okay. I thought I was just playing hard to
One second.
get.
The entire kingdom of Chipseave.
The entire kingdom.
They all
That sounds
share
interesting.
in the blood. Those stupid dragonborns.
Racist.
They murdered him.
He's gonna kind of think about it for a second. He's gonna talk in Draconic for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The whole kingdom.
You feel anger as you say that in Draconic. Just pure anger. As there's no response.
As he's gonna switch back to common.
Mind you, all of this is happening in your head. Nox, you're just watching him stare at his sword.
I take it, even with the mental connection, I'm not hearing this then.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Architect.
Saying blood relation, so the whole kingdom's related. Everything from the smallest of child to the grownest and eldest of elders.
Yes.
Mason's just kind of getting frustrated with this. It's like, what will that accomplish, though, at the end of it? They did nothing. They themselves did nothing wrong to you.
What is that?
Existence is not a crime.
God, I'm trying to remember the phrase. I heard it the other day. Oh, shit.
Guilty by association?
No, it goes. It goes like this. Something like the crime of the father is passed to the son.
The sins of the father, I think.
Yeah, the sins of the father are passed to the son. Something like that. I can't remember what the fucking wait. Oh, the sins of the father are to be laid upon the children. That is the response he gives.
I'm curious, the more that we're talking, is there any details I can see about him?
You're talking more telepathy wise. You're not actually looking at like a figure like Nox was.
Okay. As he is going to ask, my associate Knox told me you was a trader with slaves.
I did not trade in slaves. I sold the
Collars.
collars.
My bad, my bad. You sold the collars. Did you sell it to the kingdom of Chipseave?
I have sold collars to every royal within the land of Nari at the time of my life.
Okay. Question: how much does Mason know about the kingdom of Chipseave?
Okay, so the kingdom of Chipsave used to be. So if we go back and we look at the whole continent map, I'm gonna just do that really quickly on stream. Go back and look at the whole continent map. You see the blue and the dark orange on the west coast, the kingdom of Aves and the kingdom of Chipsave. Those used to be one entire kingdom called the kingdom of Chipsave. They split after the Black Tower event because of differences of opinions between the Aarakocra and the Dragonborn, which caused a split, and they decided to go their separate ways, and they split the nation. The Aarakocra were mainly responsible for the fact that of what they contributed to the war effort, as well as to the land being drowned by the sea, killing a lot of people in the process. The Aarakocra are within the kingdom of Chipseve mainly now, and the kingdom of Aves is where the Dragonborn mostly preside. They chose Aves as a sort of spit in the face to the Aarakocra. So yes, in modern times, like as the moment that you guys are talking in the campaign, the king and a lot of public opinion is for changing the name of the kingdom to something else, because whilst that resentment is very old and very in line with a lot of the elders, a lot of the younger generations and stuff don't feel that anger and don't feel that hatred towards them. So they're trying to like correct things now, but for right now it's still the kingdom of Aves.
Okay. So, yeah, Mason's getting some details. So, I don't think he's asking the right questions. And that's based on the player not knowing the right questions.
I don't think Nox would know the right questions either, because he wasn't there either. The only person who was there is Fenrir. And Fenrir's not here today.
Yep. He's going to slowly disconnect, but he's gonna say, "This isn't over.
Oh, don't worry.
This
I'll
hate."
always be in the back of your mind now. You'll feel my urges. And you'll hear my voice when you least expect it.
Yeah. Works both ways. I'm gonna get you to pass on, whether you like it or not.
Good luck with that.
As he disconnects, puts the blade back into the scabbard. Nox, you definitely look like Mason. He looks like he's sweating, like he just wants to basically chain up the blade and just throw it.
You do not have that urge. As part of the curse, you cannot be separated from this blade.
Well, I'm saying like he's not going to do it. It's more like God, I just want to throw this away now. But
You try to hand it to Nox, and your grip tightens.
no,
As
he
you're
doesn't.
trying to, you're trying to let go, and Nox is like, "Well, give me it," and your grip is just tighter and tighter.
As Mason will explain everything that he's talked to the spirit with.
Ah, so you've met him.
Yeah. And he has a blood vendetta against the whole kingdom of Chipsave.
Well, that's quite brave of him. The Enchantress chimes up.
Yeah.
Let me know how that goes.
Ambitious, sure.
I mean, will we see you again? After
Yeah,
all this?
most likely. If you don't die, that is. There's always
Ever
the
the
opportunity of
optimist.
death. You should know this by now. You deal with the dead every
Yeah.
day.
That I do. Now I got some dead living in my head.
Yep.
The gift that just keeps on giving.
Yep. But
Alternatively,
either way,
you could possibly go to the university and get someone to remove the curse, in which case the spirit will just vanish into the ether, but I thought you might be more humane.
well, I need more details. To be honest, there's a lot that I know he's just not gonna tell me. No matter how much I ask and prod.
Yeah, probably. About the whole learning about the other continents and stuff. Keep that to ourselves, shall we? Not technically
course.
supposed to tell anyone.
Well, as long as Lady Aerodeth is okay, that's all that I care about.
Yeah, she's fine. She should be back in her homeland by now.
If keeping it quiet gives us a greater chance to survive all of this, then I certainly will.
Yes, there is. But also, you might the cat. I don't want to anger the cat lady. She might kill me for this. So, if you would be so kind.
She's lovely.
She is very lovely, but when it comes to the rules, she is very strict.
I thought she breaks the rules by interfering with mortal lives.
There are, in her own words, there are some rules worth breaking for the greater good. However, there are others which shall never be broken.
I suppose there's nothing to be benefited from revealing the other continents.
Exactly.
Actually, now that I think about it, has Mason met the cat lady?
No. I have been planning this encounter for a while now.
Oh, I look forward to that.
Oh, and she's
Yeah.
in the university waiting for
Oh,
you.
perfecto!
Remember your letter.
Yeah.
Oh, her
Oh, yeah,
house.
she told us... No, she told us about the fact that the headmaster was corrupt.
Yes,
Yep,
and
yep,
that
yep,
she
yep,
was
yep.
staying in the university for the meanwhile.
To keep an eye on things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, this is where we're going to end things for tonight.
Reasonable.
Yep. This is where we're going to end things for tonight. Hope everyone has a great rest of your night. See ya later.
Ciao.
Later.